Welcome to Beyond Sunday with Pastor Nick Williams. South Shore Community Church exists to help all people find and follow Jesus. Join us weekly as we talk through current sermons, theology, parenting issues, and how to have a gospel-centered marriage. We are praying that today's message helps you grow closer to Jesus. Now, here's your host, Pastor Nick.
Welcome back to this special series on Beyond Sunday, where we're exploring the principles of leadership and personal growth through John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Today, we're diving into the third law, the law of process. The subtitle for this chapter is Leadership Develops Daily, Not in a Day. This means that you can tell where a person will end up by watching their daily habits and priorities. Let's unpack what this means for our leadership journey. In my leadership experience, I've found that growth doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of consistent daily effort. Whether through reading, attending conferences, or simply reflecting on daily experiences, each step contributes to my development as a leader. I mentioned early on in this series that leadership wasn't something that came natural to me, that I didn't really realize that you could grow into being a leader. And realizing that, I also realized the areas of my life that I was a leader in. But this chapter in particular was a huge impact on my life, really just reorganizing my daily commitments to get to a place where I actually was growing in leadership. Maxwell emphasizes that leadership is a daily commitment. He writes, "What can you see when you look at a person's daily agenda? Priorities, passion, abilities, relationships, attitude, personal disciplines, vision, and influence. And all these elements shape where you will end up in your leadership journey." I want to say those again because I want you to be able to hear what should be seen on your daily agenda. And the truth is, it is seen, whether it's seen in large form or in small form. Your priorities, your passion, your abilities, your relationships, your attitude, your personal disciplines, your vision, and your influence are all seen on your daily agenda. It doesn't matter where you hope to end up if you do not first determine which road you ought to be traveling on to get there. This means that as leaders, we must have a personal plan for growth. I heard somebody say years ago, I think it was Andy Stanley, he talks about, I live in Sarasota, Florida. If I wanted to go to Miami and I got out on the interstate and started driving north on I-75, I would never get to Miami. The principle of the path by Andy Stanley, its direction determines destination. Or another way to say it, direction, not intention, determines destination. You can intend to go to Miami all day long, but if you're going in the opposite direction, you'll never get there. The road I'm on always determines where I end up. Doesn't matter where I tended to be. He went on to say, the path I take determines my ultimate destination. Plans, intentions, spousal expectations, none of that counts. I always end up where the road I've chosen takes me. Maxwell states, just as you need a growth plan to improve, so do those who work for you. Therefore, as we lead others, we must also set them up on a course for success, ensuring they have opportunities to grow. It doesn't matter where you hope to end up if you do not first determine which road you ought to be traveling on to get there. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says this, whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. This verse reminds us to put our full effort into our daily task, knowing that each action contributes to our growth. Consider the parable of the talents in Matthew chapter 25. The servants who diligently invested their talents were rewarded, while the one who did nothing with his talent was chastised. This story illustrates the importance of daily diligence and continuous improvement. John Maxwell said, leaders are learners. This succinctly captures the essence of the law of process. Another powerful quote is, success is the sum of small parts, repeated day in and day out. That's by Robert Collier. This emphasizes the importance of daily habits in achieving long-term success. For just a moment, imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't achieve peak performance overnight. It takes years of daily practice, discipline, and commitment to reach that level. Similarly, leadership requires consistent effort and learning. Consider Thomas Edison, if you will, who famously said, "I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's perseverance and daily commitment to experimentation eventually led to the invention of the light bulb, transforming the world. Now, Maxwell outlines phases of leadership growth. He says phase 1 is, I don't know what I don't know. At this stage, a person is unaware of what they need to learn. Phase 2 is, I know that I need to know, realizing the need for growth but not knowing where to start. Phase 3 is, I know what I don't know, identifying areas for personal growth and creating a plan. Phase 4 is, I know and grow, and it starts to show. Becoming a lifelong learner and seeing the results in this phase. And then phase 5, he says, I simply go because of what I know. Leadership becomes second nature, and decisions are made almost instinctively. Now, on this journey with you, I want to give you some applications and takeaways. So let's talk about how you and I can apply the law of process to our own leadership journey. 4 quick things. Number 1, write out a plan for personal growth. Identify areas you want to improve in and create a plan. This could include a lot of things. It could include reading one book or listening to one message a month on leadership. It could be attending a conference every year on leadership. Whatever it is, write out that plan for personal growth. In fact, if you're taking today's podcast seriously, pause it right now and begin to write out what it looks like for you to have a plan for personal growth. My plan includes Bible reading. It includes certain books and types of books that I'm going to read. It includes certain lunches with key leaders in our community that I'm going to make sure that I reach out to them and allow them to pour into my life. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you and I become intentional. Number 2, daily habits. Incorporate daily practices that contribute to your growth, such as journaling, setting daily goals, reflecting on your progress. Number 3, growth of those you lead. Plan and provide growth opportunities for those that you lead, those that are underneath you. Encourage them to develop their own personal growth plans. Number 4, become a lifelong learner. Embrace the mindset of being this lifelong learner, that it's not a one book and done. In fact, I'll add this into it of a friend, Ian Pruckner, who's got a podcast out and a couple books. You should check him out. But Ian was on a podcast recently and he said this. He said, I don't care how many books you've read. If you're not applying anything out of those books, you're just wasting time. That's not a direct quote, but that's basically what he said. And it hit me hard because I read a lot of books. And I wonder how many of those books that I've rarely applied parts of those books to my life. And so for my plan, my personal growth plan, it's not just reading a book. It's identifying the things in the book that I need to apply to my life and making a plan for that as well. Seek out new experiences and knowledge continuously. Remember, leadership develops daily, not in a day. Each small step contributes to your overall growth and effectiveness as a leader. Now, today, we explored the law of process and how daily habits and continuous growth shape our leadership journey. Understanding and applying this law can transform the way you lead and impact those around you. I want to invite you to join us next time as we delve into the 4th law, the law of navigation. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, subscribe, leave a review, share it with a friend. Until next time, keep growing and leading with purpose.
Thank you for tuning in to Beyond Sunday. We hope the conversations and insights shared here have brought you encouragement and have deepened your journey of faith. If today's episode has inspired you, we invite you to follow or subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an opportunity to grow closer to Jesus alongside us. Don't forget to share this podcast with friends and family who might be blessed by it too. Until next time, thanks for joining us, and may God bless you abundantly.